I'm gonna try to post this recording. I don't really use Zoom too much. All right, let me go ahead and share my screen. Thank you guys for joining. I know when I started real estate about 8 years ago, I tried everything. I tried cold calling, I tried door knocking. I was on a team that had realtor.com leads. And then I also tried what else did I try? Open houses, obviously, and expired cold calling, FISBOs, all that stuff. So everything I tried, and I hated anything that didn't have to do with attraction marketing. And attraction marketing feels a lot more natural. It also is a way to actually attract the clients that you can get along with and really connect with, and that makes your job a lot more fun. So when you're chasing expireds down, it does work, and I did get listings from it, but the whole time I was listing it, they were kind of like breathing down my neck. They weren't really trusting what I had to say, what I had to do, and I was just constantly having to prove myself because their past realtor didn't do a good job. So it's just a lot more work for the same amount of money. So just before we dive deeper into this, these are kind of some of the ideas for inbound leads or attraction leads. And they are open houses, events like community book clubs, things like that, social media, referrals, and your network. So when I moved to Tampa, I didn't have a sphere at all. I didn't know anyone here, so I couldn't rely on that. Your SEO and blog, those are great, but right now they're changing into something called AIO. If you guys have heard of it, it's basically like search engine optimization, but instead it's AI optimization. So AI optimization, we won't jump too much into it, but it's basically it gathers things from like Reddit comments, forum comments, things that are generated by community, not as much stuff that you can go on and blog about. So SEO and blog don't really focus on those as much anymore. I think everything's turning into the AI. And I also saw something recently that Google is going to change its interface to look more like ChatGPT, where you just go in and it gives you answers. So we'll see how that rolls out. But I couldn't do SEO and blog at the time because I couldn't really afford to. Email newsletter is a great one, and we talk a lot about that in the social crew communities. So if you guys are in that, we do talk about emails, and then community events. So those are kind of the best options to get ideal clients, whereas the outbound ones, cold calling, door knocking, paid ads, direct mail, expired listings, and farming, they're all either very expensive or they're very hard to convert the person. So it takes a lot more effort, time, energy, and when you actually get along with a client, it's very rare that it's your ideal client and that it's somebody that you will get along with, you would become friends with, that will give you referrals in the future. So the attraction inbound marketing is a lot better way to generate referrals. Now my business is over 60% social media attraction, and the rest is all past client referrals or builder partnerships that I've built over the years, which is a lot easier for me because I was able to connect and bond with those people because I had met them either through social media or through open houses. So this is kind of how the main reason why attraction marketing works and the main framework for it is you have to provide value. So we're going to talk about the top two open house social media. So for value with open houses, you're providing a house that someone actually wants to see and they don't have to contact anybody, they just can walk in. So great value. And market reports now with Claude and ChatGPT, you should be providing those at open houses or having a QR code or using it as a follow-up method to provide those neighborhood market reports. Because a lot of times when people come through open houses, they don't know too much about the neighborhood yet. That's why they're exploring. So you can pop into Claude or ChatGPT and put in a prompt and ask it to develop like a quick one page or two-page flyer about what the neighborhood's like, what the current market rate is for, or the current market statistics are for it. So there's a ton of great things you can now use with Claude and ChatGPT that I didn't have access to at the time. But there's a lot of really interesting opportunities for lead magnets you could provide at your open houses and social media. So value first, Social media is also kind of going towards the direction of being more educational based. I don't know if you guys have noticed, there's a lot more trends of doing carousel posts where you're actually providing education again. It kind of went through a huge wave of doing a ton of just houses, house tours, like clips of houses, like luxury type videos. And now it's going back to real education, like true stories of things that have happened to you or your clients, and things that will build trust with your audience because you share your experience and you share what you have learned, how you overcame it, things like that. That is what is working right now on social media, is that kind of value. And then the niche. So you can do niches with open houses and with social media. So with open houses, I would focus on a specific either price point or neighborhood. It's better if you do a specific neighborhood because if you get branded listing or branded open house signs, people will see your open house signs every single weekend in that neighborhood, and you're going to become the expert for that neighborhood. So I highly recommend getting open house signs with like a picture of you. Sometimes they get stolen, which is unfortunate, but try to get at least a couple that you can put out into the main roads, and then the rest can be like different ones if you don't want to get like a bunch of ones that are the same. But I would recommend getting all of open houses with your face on them, and then your name on it. So people will still keep seeing you over and over again in their neighborhood. So sellers will reach out to you because they'll think those are all your listings. And then buyers who are looking in that neighborhood are going to be like, wow, they'll also think they're all your listings. They'll be like, wow, she's a real, or he is a real expert in the neighborhood. I need to reach out to them. So that's a great way, and that's what really worked for me is I was doing open houses mainly in Seminole Heights, and I kept seeing the same people over and over again. And in my first year, I closed, or my, yeah, my second year, I closed 18 deals directly from open houses. And it was, I wasn't doing like crazy follow-up. It was all people I really liked working with. And it was because I kept seeing people that were going to my other open houses, and I had a very like natural way of following up and contacting them, which we'll dive into in a little bit. And then also another thing with content, which works really well, as opposed to like open houses, it's a lot more evergreen. So if you post a lead magnet about like, we'll jump into a couple ideas at the end, but if you post a unique lead magnet, then that will keep working for you. Like I get comments and DMs about posts from like weeks ago, months ago, and it keeps bringing in leads. So as soon as you get a couple pieces of content that really work for you, hone in on that style and then keep like scaling it. So those are kind of the quick overview. But I wanted to share a little bit more about open houses, and then we'll switch into social media, and then we'll do questions at the end. But 50%, this is a crazy statistic, 50% of buyers attend at least one open house before they buy a house. So that's a huge amount of people that you meet first. So open houses tend to be people buying in the next like 3, 6, 12 months, and they're just getting their feet wet. They want to know what they like. A lot of times when I meet with clients that reach out to me through social media, they said they've already gone to open houses. So somebody could have converted them, but they didn't. And I'm sure there's a ton that are being converted that still watch my content. But they go to the open houses first because they want to know where they want to live. They might be bored on a weekend and pop into a house. And I've actually sold listings. My very first deal, somebody walked into an open house and bought that open house. They weren't planning to buy for like a year or two. So it does really work. I know they're a little bit slower than they used to be a couple years ago, but if you make them strategic and you choose open houses in a certain neighborhood, and it should be a neighborhood with your ideal client in it. I did Seminole Heights at the time in Tampa because it was people closer to my age. I liked the houses. I could really connect with people looking for that style of house. If you're more into new construction, do them near new construction. And Tell them about all the builders around, things like that. If you're into condo living and downtown living, do them there. Like the condos, I've had a couple condo listings and people do go to those open houses. I had a couple agents host condo listings for me recently, and a few of them had got buyers from those condos and converted them. And same with townhouses. So it doesn't have to be just houses. And if you stick to a couple like sections of town, then people will start seeing your face all the time. And at the very least, sellers will see your face all the time. And when they go to list, they know who to call. Or if they have a friend who's listing, they'll know who to call. And open houses also, like I said, you can help meet buyers and sellers. So the main thing with open houses, you have to market them. So it's better if you can, and I know this takes a lot longer, but you might even be able to hire like a college kid or something to do this for you. But to set up the open houses a few days before you host the open house. So if you, or the open house signs, so you can put in there the address and Saturday 12 to 2 and have that set up as long as your seller's okay with it. And if it's an HOA neighborhood, it might not be as easy to get that done. But I would recommend doing that a few days before the open house, and that way people are passing by it all the time. And then you're more likely to get more traffic, and you're more likely it's just like free marketing. People see your face over and over again for 3 to 5 days. You might get some signs taken down or stolen, but it's just kind of a worthwhile risk, I think. Um, Obviously, post in local Facebook groups, those are really good. Not all of them allow you to post open house marketing in Facebook groups, but there are some like buy sell groups, like there's like a buy sell trade in every specific neighborhood. And if people keep seeing you in there like all the time, and if you interact regularly, that'll help you as well. And then obviously post to your Instagram. If it's a vacant house or the seller allows it, try to go out there a couple days early and film a reel so that you can post it. Or take a couple pictures and post it, put it in your stories. And then the door knocking is more so you can meet potential sellers. So so for door knocking, I would say I have met inviting people to open houses. I have met sellers in the neighborhood, so that can work as well. So if you have the time, I know if you live in Tampa or in a hot area, it's not that fun to do in the summer. But if you have the time, just door knock, like go down one direction, door knock 7 houses, and come back, and you'll door knock 15 by the time you're done. But it does help as well. So the main like bread and butter obviously is converting the actual leads that you get from the open houses. So they're going to multiple open houses, so you have to be different than the other ones. So always set them up on an auto drip on MLS the day you meet them and then text them once you get home or as soon as they leave the house. But text them once you have the MLS set up and say, like, hey, I just sent you a couple houses that I think you might like. Did you get my email? So always end it with a question. They're more likely to answer you. And if you have something you're sending them, they're going to go and check. So it's very important to try to get their email and their phone number. And that way you can touch the base on them in 2 ways. And obviously MLS shows you if they're checking the portal or not. So that helps a lot. And then if they answer you, which they don't always answer, but if they answer you, ask them if you can change the criteria, if there's anything that like they're looking in other neighborhoods too, and then adjust your search as needed. But until you kind of have that insight from them, just do the generic criteria. Like if you just had an open house at a 3 bedroom, 2 bathroom home in a certain neighborhood, certain like age of house, if it's brand new, send them all that same exact house in that neighborhood within a few miles. So try to keep it like 20-ish, 30-ish houses. Don't do too many. Otherwise it will be overwhelming. They're not going to look. And you don't have to like hand select them until they give you criteria. And then we touched base about this, but the neighborhood guide with Claude, offer to send them that. Send a personalized video text. That does really, really well. So send a personalized video text thanking them and asking them if they got your email. So I, if you don't have time to do personalized with their name, I would at least take a video so they remember who you are because they are popping into other open houses and just say like, hey, thanks for coming to my open house and still do the video and just make it generic. But it does work better if you say their name and if you mention like the address of the house because they'll feel inclined to reply to you because they know that took effort and it's also like scary to talk to the camera, obviously. So I'd recommend doing that. And then the important thing is to follow up at least a couple times before the end of the week. So follow up 3 days later. Try to avoid Mondays. Like people are busy Mondays. So follow up a couple days later, asking if you need to adjust the criteria, and then follow up a couple days later before the weekend and offer to send them a list of other open houses they can go to. And I know that might seem counterintuitive because they'll meet other realtors, but no other realtor is like providing that information. And on the MLS, if you're not in Tampa, I don't know if it has that option, but on the MLS, there is an option to search for open houses happening that weekend. It's not like the most user-friendly format and doesn't look the greatest, but it's still sending them something. So I would offer to do that. And then follow up every week for the first 30 days, and then switch to bi-weekly, and then switch to monthly. So it is very important to try to do it as often as you can in the beginning. Um, so that's just like a quick overview about open houses. Does anyone have questions? Actually, I don't think I can see the chat, so maybe we'll save that for the end. If you have a question, you can write in the chat now, and I'll answer it at the end because I don't think I can see it. But yeah, so if you are in Tampa, for any agent that hosts my open house, I give them a $500 bonus if it sells because of the open house. So even if that person has a realtor, if I can confirm that they came to your open house and they closed on my house, the day of closing, I'll send you a $500 bonus. So I've already sent out four, I think, of those since I implemented this in January. So these do work, and it's a great way to meet people. A lot of the agents that help me with open houses get clients from it as well. And then it obviously doesn't hurt to try to get that $500 bonus. So if you are interested in being a part of the group, just go ahead and scan the QR code. And it's a Facebook group, and just either DM me or text me or something like that if you want to join. But yeah, I've had at least like 4 people doing it. I actually can see the chat. Okay. Someone asked, would you host open house in the same neighborhood, the same house, or are you choosing different houses each time? That's a good question. So I would recommend doing houses that have been listed less than 30 days. So if you get good traffic in one house, if you're getting like, and right now good traffic is like 5-ish people and more. If you get good traffic, or even if you get less, but they're all like really solid, ready to go people, then yeah, I would keep doing the same house over and over again. If the house doesn't give you that many leads, obviously holidays are not great, so I wouldn't count if you had a slow day on a holiday. But if you're not getting a ton of leads, then I would switch and do a different house. So we'll switch gears. Oops. Sorry, the wrong way. We'll switch gears to content now. So I think the reason I love the social media and open house strategy is they can pair really well together. While you're at the open house, you can take a video and you can share it to your social media. You can go live on social media. If the open house is slow, you can edit your content. So open houses really should only take you like 2 hours to host, an hour to drive, get there, set up signs, and then maybe an hour, probably less, a week to prep for. And then if you do obviously Saturday and Sunday, add the other couple hours for that. And then content should really only take you like 30-ish minutes a day. So we all have time to do this. But as you start growing your social media, and start getting consistent leads from it, you can start weaning off the open houses because that way you can get your weekends back. So that's one thing that I really love about social media is I now try to not work on weekends unless I have to. Um, Usually I try to get my clients to do showings during the week. Every once in a while they can't. So it's been really, really great to have social media because it's allowed me to have more of a regular schedule, less evening things, less weekend things. So I highly recommend it if that's something you're looking for. And obviously, if you have families and kids, it's a lot nicer to be able to rely on social media consistently. So with social media, I did mention a little bit about education. So one person that does that really well is Celine Hanna. If you haven't seen her pop across your page before, she does education very well. She explains concepts in a very easy, like simple manner. She does carousel posts, she does video posts, and she only posts like a couple times a week, but she does it so effectively, and I know she's getting clients from it. So education is doing really well, but you can't do just like generic, what down payment do you need? Like super simple things. You have to do stuff that people can't Google or search on ChatGPT anymore because all that stuff's out there. So think of things specific to your area. I think Louise is on here. She talks about like agriculture, like what to look for if you're looking to buy a farm. Like, I don't even know that. A lot of people don't know that. So things like that is useful if you have a lot of if you're in like California, you have like fire insurance, or sorry, yeah, fire insurance, and then people have earthquake insurance. Like I don't know that coming from Florida, but then people coming from other states don't know about flood insurance, and that's a common question. So what I like to do is when people text me, like clients text me questions, is I like to either screenshot them and keep them in a folder, or I like to keep them in a note. Um, and that way I always have like a list of questions that I'm like, oh, like you forget what people don't know. And especially if you've been doing it for a while. So it helps to have that notepad to like reference and be like, oh, I really need to create a piece of content about this because other people might have this question too. So I would do that. And then I would share your testimonials. So basically, if you do have cl past clients, and you can go back to old reviews, like people don't remember what reviews you've already posted, but try to post reviews of what people thought about you, working with you, do it to your stories, or do it with just like a picture of you and then the next slide, the review. But those are really helpful because they are a third person like validating that you're good to work with. And then neighborhood. So I love sharing restaurants. I love sharing parks. I love sharing like local small businesses. And that's what attracts people to my page that aren't quite ready to buy or sell yet. And I know that people that like that content usually like food, and I'm a big foodie. So when I meet with them, we just talk about food for a long time. And it's like a super easy way to break the ice because they might have gone to a restaurant I haven't been to, or they're asking me about somewhere I just went and we talk about it and super easy to connect. And then you can always follow up and be like, let's all get lunch together, let's all get drinks together, or do like a double date or something like that. So it's a good way to form relationships. And then day in the life. So I w- I like day in the lives, but I wouldn't do like too many of them because they tend to attract a lot of like realtors who are interested in your day in the lives. So if you are doing day in the lives, make sure you have a lot of like voiceover or like storytelling about an actual deal or something that was very useful for a buyer or seller to know, not just like what you did throughout the day and that you had showings, but share what did that person think about those houses that you showed? Like, did you see termites there? Like, was there a leak there and that you noticed it? Like things like that that are actually valuable to a buyer and seller and not just ones that are like flashy and show that you're a realtor and that you're like successful. Like those will just attract other realtors. So these are just, you guys can take a picture of this, a couple unique ideas that you can use that might be helpful for your future content. And then I'll check out a couple questions. So Samantha asked, how are you finding listings to host open houses at? I typically ask agents within my office, but not everyone has active listings. So I would just go ahead and reach out to agents directly. And they don't, if your office doesn't allow other offices, obviously that's a little bit harder. But if that's not an issue, then just directly like find a cute house and reach out to that realtor and ask them if you can host that listing. So I get people all the time from like other brokerages asking me if they can host my listing, and I say yes. Obviously, if it's like a house that the seller doesn't want open houses, then no. But people might say no. But as long as your office allows it, which most do, then just find a house that you like, meeting your criteria or farm area, and then ask them directly if you can go. Okay. And then I just wanted to touch a little base again about my membership. I know some of you that are on here are in the membership. So we did just open doors. So I kind of switched up when I have the doors open this last round. So I'm going to keep doing it. So basically, the doors are only open until June 5th. So if you have questions, just feel free to DM me, and then they'll close again until August. So what you get when you join this time around is you'll get a 20% discount using the code June. And I'm also offering 10-minute coaching calls to anyone who joins this round. And it's basically a group coaching program. We have about 50-ish members. A few more joined this morning, which is exciting. And we have 3 different live calls a month. So the first week is a live call on a topic that I lead. The second week is like a hot seat coaching where we live audit anyone's, usually about 3 agents, like social medias, and then ask questions live and like work through things. Every once in a while, I throw in something that I might have learned like the previous week, like I did a Claude prompt, I think a month ago, and we kind of worked through that. And then the third week, we have a guest expert. So next month, I haven't announced it yet, but I'm really excited. We have a guest expert who's going to be talking about keeping in touch with like your past clients, what she does to like keep that relationship alive, because it can kind of feel like a little bit naggy sometimes. So we have her coming on. We had an agent this month come on who talked about automating your systems. And we've had people come on talking about TikTok, about YouTube. One guy has earned over $2 million from YouTube. So he came and talked. So it's super really valuable for platforms that I might not be an expert in. And I want to share those with you because you might be more interested in different platforms. And they come on and share their knowledge, and you can ask them questions. And then all of those are saved in past workshops. So you can access any of those workshops when you join, and they're saved, and you can like listen to them kind of like a podcast when you're driving. So super easy. I just reorganized them so it's a lot more accessible. And the last week we have a social media challenge with prizes, and that is when I give out 5 prompts and we try to implement what we've learned, and then I pick a winner at the end to get a prize. But you have to complete all the challenges. And then we have accountability buddies every quarter as well. So they can kind of help you stay accountable, and they will kind of, I do give some homework, and you can kind of like bounce ideas off of each other. And we also have our group chat and our, you can like private message me as well whenever you have questions. So I'm super excited. We have members from all over the country. So if you are interested, this is the QR code. And then you can use the code June for 20% off. Then this one is a little bit easier to click. So does anyone have questions so far? Or about any of this? And feel free to DM me later as well. But I highly recommend doing attraction marketing because it's just going to save you so much time and energy. And these are kind of tried and true methods. I still have people getting clients. Like a lot of people think open house might be dead, but a few of you on here have gotten clients recently from open houses and closed them already. So that's the great thing, is like they do still work. You just have to be strategic about it. Oh, the education. It was Celine Hannah. I don't remember her handle. It's something like Celine.Hannah or something like that. But yeah, she has really good content. Awesome. Well, if you guys have no more questions, I'll let you go and then feel free to message me if you think of something later. I am going to try to, if this recording worked, try to upload this to YouTube. So if it does, I'll share the recording later. But if it doesn't, I'm sorry. I'm not very good with Zoom. Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much. And I'm really glad that you were here. And I hope you guys have an awesome rest of your week. And if you do want to join the open house group, then please let me know. Have a great day.